Colors, like facial features, follow changes in emotions. Pablo Picasso said it, leaving us with many questions about the colors we prefer and what they say about us. So, what kind of personality is hidden behind a green, gray, or orange Urus? And what message does our choice convey? And how do colors correspond to emotions? In order to answer these and other questions, we have invited 4 international color experts. Martha Roberts, journalist, color expert, author and creator of the Color File blog. Welcome, Martha.
Hello, thank you very much for having me.
Leatrice Eisman, color expert, director of the Eisman Center for Color and executive director of the Pantone Color Institute. Nice to meet you.
Hello.
Benedetto De Maio, illustrator and professor. Thanks for being with us.
Hello, everybody.
And Andrea Antoni, graffiti writer. It's a pleasure to have you here with us.
Hi, nice to meet you.
With them, we will try to bridge the gap between what we know and what we have yet to discover about the world of color. My name is Paolo Ferrarini, and this is The Color Experience. Let's take a step back. In order to understand the link between color and personality, we have conducted a social experiment. We asked 2 Lamborghini employees, 2 fans, 1 customer, and 1 dealer to choose one of the 3 new Urus colors and then to answer a series of questions. The result? We collected the sensations and emotions related to the color and highlighted the link between personality and verde mantis, grigio Keres mat, and arancio borealis. Now, it's up to our experts to explain these links between colors and character. But first, let's watch a video. Come si sceglie il colore di un'auto, anzi di una Urus? E questa scelta cosa dice della nostra personalità? Lo scopriremo attraverso le risposte dei nostri ospiti. Bene, la prima domanda.
Sono sicuro e affidabile.
Chi lo sa? Penso anch'io che sono sicuro e affidabile, sì.
Sicuramente un rock all'aperto.
Musica classica in un bel auditorium.
Quale frase si addice di più alla tua personalità?
Sto bene con gli altri, ma anche mi isolo a volte.
Sto benissimo da solo. Sono un eremita, un cosiddetto orso.
L'interno in carbonio. Più carbonio c'è, a mio avviso, più la macchina trasuda sportività.
Sedili massaggianti in carbonio con la lettone dietro in carbonio. Più optional, tutto assieme.
Di eleganza, molto fine, discreto.
Eleganza, assolutamente, lo stile aggressivo e sportivo.
Now, back to our experts. What do you think about it? Leatrice, do you want to start?
Yes, I do. It's interesting that with the gray, they chose to say that it was, I believe, sophisticated and elegant. That is often what we associate with gray. It's a rock-solid color. It is something we know we can depend on. People who choose gray are often very reliable and self-reliant, rather confident, as these 2 gentlemen appeared to be. So I'm not surprised by their choices. I think that they really exemplified those who might choose a gray. I was a little bit surprised by the one who said that it was a bit aggressive. Generally, you don't think of gray as being aggressive, but it does show strong leadership qualities.
Thank you, Leatrice. I see that Benedetto asks to speak. Do you want to add something?
Yes, gray is a neutral color. Sobriety is certainly its main feature, and sobriety is always synonymous with style and elegance. But it also means not making a decision to the end. As the Latin said, in medio stat virtus. Gray is a middle color. Those who choose gray are elegant, but also discreet and diplomatic. Why not?
Thank you. Now, let's see an excerpt from the second interview.
Se l'arancione avesse un suono, quale sarebbe?
Non so, mi immagino una musica da surfista.
L'inizio di un qualcosa, l'inizio di una sinfonia.
Well, interesting answer, isn't it? Martha, what can you say about the lover's personality?
Yeah, sure. Orange is a very interesting colour because it is a blend of red and yellow. Red tends to be a colour of optimism and a very interesting package. In terms of who tends to like orange, people who like orange tend to be good-natured, good-humoured, friendly and sociable, and they thrive in the presence of other people, which is something that clearly kind of comes through with regards to these two Lamborghini lovers.
Andrea, do you agree?
Yes, I agree. And I can say also that orange is such energetic color. And the destination chosen for the trip are also different colored, but they are all very photo-friendly. And they are all places with very intense and decisive colors, just as orange is a very strong and powerful choice.
Thank you. Now it's time for the third interview.
Direi avventura, vivacità e spensieratezza.
Serenità, equilibrio, le idee in cui credo.
Well, the question was very clear, but the answer was extremely creative. Are we dealing with personalities that are somehow difficult to define? Beatrice.
Well, I don't think they're really difficult to define. Lovers of green are all often so attached to nature. They love it because they want to see it in the world around them. It's a very balanced color, having elements of both cool and warm included. So they're usually very sociable people you can get along with very well. I think that even though their answers seem to be a little bit different, I think they might have more in common than we might think.
Martha, what do you say?
Well, I was very interested to hear them talk about creativity because we also know that green is associated with creativity and that studies have shown that when people are surrounded by green, they can often be more creative, the so-called green effect. So it was interesting to hear both of them talking about this, that as well as it being a colour of nature, which they were both very in tune with, it was also something that made them feel a creative buzz.
And Benedetto, what do you think?
Green is the color of nature for sure, but both of the answers are original and reveal the fact that each of us sees something inside the color that the other doesn't see. It's a matter of perception. Munari said that everyone sees what they know. I think it's the quote that best encloses this concept.
Well, very interesting quote. Andrea, do you agree?
Yes, I agree, and I really appreciate how the double personality of green color emerges from the answer. Green is a color linked to balance, to peace, but also to hunger. For give you a funny example, the Incredible Hulk becomes green with hunger. Green color is very wonderful, but also difficult to use and has many facets.
Thank you all. In our social experiment, we have also listened to the voices of the fans of Lamborghini on social media. In particular, on Facebook, Francesca says, I really like Urus Verde Mantis, but I feel very different from the employee who chose it. How can you explain this difference? Can we give a quick answer to Francesca? Martha?
Yeah, sure, Francesca. The thing about colour is that we all have our own personal associations with them. So it may be that although there are certain things that we believe that we know about colour and how it makes us feel, it could be that your own example of it, your own experience of it is very much characterised by something that maybe has happened to you. For example, if you had a green school uniform and didn't have a particularly good time at school, then you may think of green in a negative way rather than in the positive way in which we have heard it described earlier on.
Leatrice, anything to add?
Yes, I would agree with that analysis of the green. I would say to Francesca, though, choose with your heart. Don't analyze too much. Choose what you feel is important to you, whether or not it agrees with someone else's opinion of the color. You have to have the color speak to you.
And Benedetto, what would you answer Francesca?
Yes, Francesca, I think that each color has different interpretations that depend on the perception of each of us. And the perception is personal and unique. It changes from people to people. So also the meanings of the colors change. It's a matter of different choice, different points of view. Don't worry, Francesca, because the word of colors is great for this reason.
Thank you. And Andrea?
Yes, Francesca, remember that green has got the particularity of being able to bond and link in very different ways. It can be interpreted as a green hope, as a peaceful color, balanced color, but for some it's also hunger. In the Middle Ages, it was also associated with witches, for example. In my perspective, there is an important part related to personal training and taste in its perception.
Thank you all for answering Francesca and guiding us in this exploration of color. We have warmed up engines, I would say. Now, however, I would like to have your opinion on some issues that we have extrapolated from a conversation with Alessandra Oliviero, who in Lamborghini deals with the ad personam program. She says, in our dialogue with customers, we notice that sometimes the choice of color of their Lamborghini depends on the context in which they drive it. From your experience, how do the social and geographical contexts influence the choice of the color of a car? Martha, can you help us?
Sure. These contexts are hugely influential. When we think of a colour, it's rarely without context. It's overlaid with cultural influences that mean different things from one culture to the next, and even within the same culture or country. So, for example, a car that seems appropriate because it's brightly coloured in Miami might not seem so appropriate in, say, New York or another country, another city more north of the equator. Because of bright sunshine as well, this makes colours look more palatable to the eye. So brighter colours work better in sunny climates than they do in places that are going to be a bit more cloudy.
These concepts are very dear to Lamborghini and their customers. In fact, Lamborghini is known for offering its customers a range of several hundred colors, as well as the possibility of customizing them and having a never-seen-before color on the bodywork. What are the elements that drive a customer to want to literally create their ideal color? Leatrice, what do you think?
Well, I think that it is amazing that Lamborghini offers the amount of colors that they do, because this does offer the opportunity to the consumer to choose whatever colors speak to them, whatever express their personality, for whatever reason they might choose a car. But to know that you have this amazing compilation of color is fabulous. And it is a wonderful way to express yourself. When you're driving in a Lamborghini, this is an expression of who you are. And to have that amazing choice, I think, fabulous.
Of course, we know that the color of a Lamborghini does not affect its performance at all, but it certainly contributes to defining the personality of the car in the eyes of the customer and the people who will see it. When choosing the color of the Urus, would you choose it like you would an accessory of luxury or a work of art? In other words, when we talk about luxury, what does color mean? Benedetto.
There are colors that have a luxurious connotation by their nature. Just think about the gold color that immediately refers to the idea of a valuable items or a precious subject. However, the color of the object doesn't change the value of the object itself. Rather, it gives an exclusive character or a specific aura. I think it's more correct to say that there are luxury objects that are so iconographic that they can wear any color without losing their special essence. They are visual gambles that just some luxury object like Urus can afford.
So we talked about color, we talked about performance and luxury as well. These are all very interesting points. Andrea, what do you think? Do you want to add anything?
Yes, why not? Urus is undoubtedly a work of art, and possessing it can be accessory. But luxury is excellence in quality, it's exclusivity, it's a dream. Expressing it with a color like gray can be in some ways easier. To use very bright color, you need a strong personality. But I don't think a person who decides to buy Lamborghini has personality issues.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you all. Well, we have already understood several things about colors and the personality of the people who choose them. So we have come to the final part of our panel talk. To be clear, I have prepared some specific questions based on your expertise, background and studies. The first question is for Andrea Antoni. Andrea, in street art, is there a relationship between the color and the message?
Well, in many circumstances, there's a relationship. In many others, no. In my experience, I can certainly remember the importance of silver gray in terms of illegal graffiti, those made at night and with a lack of time. The ones that people like the least, but which absurdly are those where the design of single stroke must be fast and essential and probably the most minimal works of the moment. Sometimes it could happen that you see some absurd color combination, but depend from the artist and the moment in many times.
A question for Martha Roberts now. Lamborghini's customers have many choices of color. What are the main reasons for a specific color choice?
There are so many reasons for a specific colour choice, starting from colour symbolism, what the colour means in terms of psychological associations. Then there are also personal associations, so lucky colours, unlucky colours, colours that you associate with events when you were little, for example. Then there is gut instinct, going with your heart, really thinking about what your favourite colour is. And related to that, there is the whole side of choosing your colour as a definite expression of yourself, where the customer's asking, what do I want this car to say about me? And then finally, there's the issue of individuality and uniqueness in a plural world, choosing a unique colour combination to avoid that situation of turning up somewhere like a party in the same outfit. Nobody wants that scenario. All in all, there are many factors that come into play when we choose colour.
Now let's talk about communication with Benedetto De Maio. How does a colour convey a brand message and the personality of a brand?
According to statistics, when we buy something, 19% of the reason why we complete the purchase concern its color. Indeed, for a brand, using the right colors can prove to be a very effective strategy. Each color implies something directly or indirectly, which helps us to have a personal perception of the brand. Color doesn't only transmit information to us, but has a huge influence on our emotions and our brain. Therefore, it is necessary to choose the brand color based on how it will be perceived by the future customers, taking into consideration two elements: the context in which the brand operates and the meaning that the color has in that context.
The last question is for Beatrice Eisman. How does color convey non-verbal communication? In other words, does it say something about us without us saying anything?
Absolutely. Color does speak a language of its own, and it is often nonverbal. If you were going to a party and you were seeing all the cars driving up with people getting out of the car and you saw this beautiful Urus, Arancia borealis, the orange color, you almost instinctively would know that this is a very adventurous person. This is someone who is spontaneous, someone who is gregarious, obviously someone who has some uniqueness about them, and probably someone that you would want to engage in conversation at that party.
Thank you. Thank you all. We have come to the end of our panel talk. Thanks to Martha Roberts.
Thank you very much. It's been absolutely fascinating.
Beatrice Eisman.
I thank you too, grazie. And whatever colors you choose, I hope they bring you joy.
Benedetto De Maio.
Thanks for giving me the opportunity to be part of this colorful experience.
And Andrea Antoni.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure and an honor.
Today, we have seen how our color choices convey more than we could have imagined. And even when we talk about cars, colors say a lot about who we are and where we are going. The color experience ends here. Thank you.